Gods of Egypt is a bad movie. There's no getting around that. The acting is bad, the execution is bad, the effects are bad, and that's just scratching the surface. But there are some bad movies that are at least enjoyably so. We can derive pleasure from them even as we understand they're not the craft at its finest, and in some ways, Gods of Egypt can at least fall into that category. Perhaps the best thing going for the movie is that all the outrage at its premise came out with the trailer. Going in, you're aware that you're in for a whitewashed reappropriation of Egyptian culture. Looking beyond that, it's clear to see Gods of Egypt for what it really is, a classic high fantasy story that lacks the imagination to come up with a setting and mythology that is in any way original. Its gods are essentially Iron Man mixed with Power Rangers. Geoffrey Rush's Ra lives on a spaceship and Set inexplicably, and often, slips into a Scottish accent. But because the movie is based in a real mythology of a real living group of people, it's hard not to get frustrated with these characterizations that constantly beg for comparisons with the real thing. Gods of Egypt has traces of the Mummy in it, but the way it bends its inspiration doesn't feel fresh in today's movie landscape. The fact that video game CGI looks better than the shoddy green screen work here does Gods of Egypt no favors. The fight sequences are consistently underwhelming and silly. The actors often aren't integrated well into the backdrop, and the slow-mo, 300-style action sequences think they're much cooler than they actually are. The leads of the movie are all trying their best, even if some of them are glaringly out of place. Brenton Thwaites is charming and energetic as lead character Beck, Nikolai Coster-Waldau is never outright bad, and Daredevil's Elodie Yung gives the best performance as Goddess of Love Hathor. On the other side, Chadwick Boseman is pretty terrible as God of Wisdom Thoth, and Gerard Butler is never convincing as an Egyptian god. Because the actors and director Alex Proyas do fully commit to the fantastical world they're building, Gods of Egypt isn't a movie so terrible as to be not enjoyable, but its weaknesses far outweigh its strengths. At best, Gods of Egypt is forgettable, and at worst, it's truly awful, and determining where it lands on that spectrum will be dependent on you as the viewer. Just don't get your hopes up for anything quality going in. For more reviews, stay on IGN.